She's a criminal. I know it. Those were the words our HOA president screamed into her phone as she called 911 on my wife just because Sarah wouldn't answer the door. 20 minutes of Deborah's knocking had driven her absolutely insane, and when the police finally pulled up, she pointed at our house like a mad woman. Arrest her. Now, she shouted, but the moment Sarah stepped outside and showed the officers what she was holding, you could feel the whole block freeze. I watched Deborah's face morph from smug victory to pure, undiluted terror. She'd just done something unforgivably stupid, and she picked the wrong person to pull it on. Yeah, that actually happened. If you want to know how we got to this point, you got to back up about 2 weeks. We'd just moved into what we thought was going to be our dream neighborhood. Sarah had gotten a big promotion, but she'd been super secretive about it, just said, "Honey, don't tell anyone what I do for work yet. Just say finance if anyone asks." Please. I figured she had her reasons. She's always been the smart one in the relationship, so I let it go. Didn't know back then how much trouble that little request was about to bring raining down on us. So first real day in the new house, I'm outside sorting through garden boxes trying to find the one with my tools. That's when I spot her Deborah. I swear she was standing on the sidewalk just glaring at our house like it had personally offended. Her arms crossed, pure HOA energy radiating off her. She was probably late 50s with that "I want to speak to your manager" haircut. Should have been my first red flag. She watches me fumble with these boxes for 5 minutes before she marches over, not walks, and thrusts this monster binder at me, announces herself as president of the HOA, and insists I read every single rule. No joke. 300 pages, and I'm flipping through seeing stuff like grass height regulations and approved shades of beige for garage doors. "Wow, this is comprehensive," I said, trying to sound friendly. She didn't crack a smile, just narrowed her eyes and said, "I'll be checking in to make sure you're in compliance." That's when Tommy, the neighbor kid, rides up, 8 years old, freckles overflowing with energy, calls out, "Hi, mister." But as soon as he sees Deborah, the smile drops. "Why are you always so angry?" "Mrs. Deborah, gotta love kids, they just say what everyone's thinking." Sarah picked that moment to come outside carrying a box labeled "Office." Even in jeans and a tee, she has this presence. Neat ponytail, calm, focused. Deborah's eyes locked on her like a heat-seeking missile. "And you are," she demanded, "like my wife needed permission to exist." Sarah just smiles. "Michael's wife, nice to meet you." But I could tell Deborah was scanning her face, like trying to place where she'd seen her before. "What do you do for work?" Deborah pressed, just a bit too hard for it to be small talk. "Finance. Boring stuff," Sarah said, smooth as ever. Deborah didn't buy it, but Tommy, bless him, crashed his bike into our mailbox right then, and Sarah rushed over to help him, asking if he was all right. "You a police officer?" Tommy asked. "Kids pick up on everything." Sarah just laughed. "No, sweetie. I work with numbers, not bad guys." After Deborah finally stomped off with her rule book, Sarah and I sat on our porch. "That woman gives me the creeps," I admitted. Sarah just shrugged, that mysterious smile on her lips. "People like that always hang themselves if you give them enough rope." If only I'd known how right she was. The next few days, Deborah made it her personal mission to harass us. The emails started immediately. Our tree was allegedly 2.5 millimeters over the height restriction, trash cans placed at a 15-degree angle, car half an inch beyond the line. I swear she had a tape measure glued to her hand. Each email CC'd the entire HOA board like she was building some sort of case. I wanted to clap back, but Sarah always said, "Let her waste her time. We've done nothing wrong." Still, I saw the way Sarah's jaw clenched every time Deborah did one of her patrols past our house 3 times a day, slow walking, staring at every inch of our property. The neighbors started filling me in. Deborah had a history. She made one family repaint their fence 3 times because the color wasn't exactly Sahara beige, and another lady had to rehome her Pomeranian because Deborah logged every bark and filed a complaint. Someone whispered that Deborah's son had gotten in trouble with the law last year, and since then she'd gotten even more controlling, especially with anyone she thought might be authority. Then it happened. Thursday afternoon, I'm at work. Sarah's home on a big video call. She can't leave when Deborah picks that exact moment to go nuclear. She pounds on the door for 20 minutes, rings the bell, even peers in the windows, then finally storms off shouting, "I know you're in there. I'll show you who runs this neighborhood. Sarah told me about it that night." I laughed. She didn't. She's escalating, Sarah said. People like her don't just give up. I should have listened. Next day I come home, and there's an official-looking letter stuffed in our mailbox. Deborah, of course. Official violation claims we're creating a hostile environment by refusing reasonable interaction, threats of $5,000 fines, and legal action if we don't shape up. I read it out loud at dinner, trying to keep calm. Sarah just laughs, rips the letter in half, tosses it. She's digging her own grave. Me. I'm not so sure. I called my mom that night, half joking we should stay with her for a while. She laughed and told me, "You're 35. Can't run home every time someone's mean." Next morning, I see Deborah outside setting up a tripod and phone. My coworker Jake's giving me a ride home. "Is she live streaming?" he asks as we pull up. "That's our HOA president," I groan. But it's not just for show. She's calling 911 on speaker, pacing the lawn, voice high and frantic. There's a suspicious woman at 3427 Maple. She won't answer her door, could be a criminal. I can hear the dispatcher trying to talk her down, but Deborah's off the rails. She's threatening our entire neighborhood by being secretive and antisocial. I know criminals when I see them. 20 minutes later, police sirens, my heart is pounding. Officer Martinez, young guy, steps out, and Deborah practically sprints over, phone in hand, shouting, "That woman is dangerous." Martinez is baffled but keeps it together, asks for actual evidence. She won't answer her door. She's hiding something. Deborah insists. Martinez tries to explain that not answering the door isn't a crime, but Deborah doubles down, shouting, "I'm the HOA president. I know when something's wrong." I'm inside, hands shaking, watching it all. Before I can do anything, Sarah steps out from the garage, calm, composed, walks right up to Martinez. "Is there a problem, officer?" she asks, voice perfectly steady. Deborah screeches. She's armed as Sarah reaches behind her back, but when she brings her hand around, she's holding a badge. Martinez goes dead silent. The color drains from his face, and then he snaps to attention. Saluting. Chief Johnson. "I'm so sorry, ma'am. I didn't know." Deborah's jaw hits the pavement. "My wife, the woman I've been married to for 7 years, who I thought worked in finance, is the new chief of police." "Yeah." Didn't see that one coming. Deborah's face cycles through every color on the visible spectrum: red, white, green, then a kind of desperate purple. She tries to regain control, shrieking at Sarah that she has evidence that she'll ruin Sarah's career. But Sarah just stares her down and tells Officer Martinez to document everything false, emergency call, harassment, all of it. The neighbors start coming out, phones recording Tommy rolling up on his bike, yelling, "I knew Mrs. Sarah was a cop." The whole street is watching. Deborah claims she's got dirt on Sarah, threatens to take it to the mayor, city council, whoever will listen. Sarah, cool as ever, warns her, "Be careful about making threats, especially in front of a witness, especially when it's blackmail against a law enforcement official." Deborah tries to bluff, waves her phone like she's holding the nuclear codes, but you can see her confidence draining away. I need to consult with my lawyer first," she mutters, which is code for "I got nothing." Officer Martinez asks her to come down to the station, not under arrest yet, but Deborah panics, spins around, and tries to rally the neighbors, but nobody's with her. In fact, they start calling her out about the time she fined a neighbor for a garden gnome facing the wrong way, or made a little girl cry over Girl Scout cookies. The HOA board keeps their distance, probably already planning her removal. Sarah addresses the crowd, tells everyone she's the new chief, wanted to keep a low profile, but Deborah forced her hand. "I take legitimate concerns seriously, but I don't tolerate harassment or false reports. People actually start applauding." Deborah hisses, "You haven't heard the last of this," and tries to name-drop her connections. Sarah just smiles. "Give the mayor my regards. I had dinner with him last week." The show's over. Martinez escorts Deborah to his car, not cuffed, but not looking happy. Later, after everyone clears out Sarah, and I finally sit on the porch alone. She apologizes for keeping the chief thing quiet, said her appointment was confidential. There are sensitive investigations, didn't want to put us at risk. I get it now. But I also realize this thing with Deborah isn't over. That night I overhear Sarah on the phone talking about the Johnson case and sealed records, and for the first time she sounds rattled. The next morning, Tommy tells us Deborah's been at the library digging into public records Sarah's past, whatever she can find. Turns out there was a controversial arrest 5 years back. Sarah was cleared, but the optics weren't great. Now Deborah's scheduled an emergency HOA meeting, plans to air it all out. At the meeting, she projects grainy newspaper headlines, twisted facts, tries to paint Sarah as the villain. The room gets ugly, hands go up, demanding Sarah resign. But when Sarah stands, she calmly produces a letter from the mayor, the governor, the attorney general, commending her for risking her life to save 3 kids from a meth lab explosion. The victim Deborah tried to use, now serving 25 to life. The crowd flips applause, not anger. Deborah's left speechless, her plan blown to bits. But Deborah's humiliation isn't over at the neighborhood movie night. Tommy's viral video of Deborah's meltdown accidentally gets projected for the entire community. The whole park watches Deborah shrieking about criminals, watches Sarah out her as police chief in high-def glory. Deborah tries to run trips over a cooler karma in action. Within a week, her house is for sale. 2 weeks she's gone, moved to Florida, where rumor has it she's already made enemies with someone's lawn flamingos. Tommy's YouTube explodes. Sarah is a legend. And me? I learned sometimes the best way to deal with a Karen is to give her all the rope she wants and let her hang herself with the whole world watching. But hey, who knows what's waiting in the next HOA meeting, right? So what do you think was Deborah? Just power hungry or truly dangerous? Drop your take in the comments. Let's talk about justice, neighbors, and the wild stuff that happens when a Karen meets her match. And if you ever find yourself dealing with an HOA nightmare, remember, document everything. Karma works best when it's caught on camera.